Hi YouTube world, thanks for tuning in again. It's been 2 months since I promised making the video, and I have been waiting to create a space where I feel comfortable doing these videos, but I'm just going to be comfortable and do the video. I don't have the space for it yet, or haven't created the space that I want to for it yet, but I am just really so excited about a movie that I just saw. And I know that I promised I would talk about Beauty and the Beast, things like Beauty and the Beast, things like comic genres, right? Comic genres, I don't know. And movies in general. Like, I live and breathe movies. I consider myself a cinephile, even though I haven't seen everything there is to have seen as a movie connoisseur. So I probably said that wrong. I probably sabotaged the pronunciation of that. So yeah, I live and breathe movies. I can quote movies, and I have a reference in my movie inventory for every situation. I'm like, that reminds me of that movie, and that reminds me of that movie. So with that being said, I just saw The Joker. And it's controversial. It's you know, the reviews are mixed. It's 50-50 with how people feel about it. It's not your classic villain movie or your comic genre movie. DC Comics, Detective Comics tends to lean toward a little bit more of a serious tone, I would say. Not like the 90s where they had the nipples on the bodysuits of Batman and Robin and the rest of them, but I think that this film was well done, and also, you know, really did justice to the Joker character. The Joker character has been redeemed. I love Jared Leto, but after Suicide Squad, I was like, why did they even touch the Joker again? And this one, well, there's a few things I want to say about the Joker. One of the first things that I thought was, it reminded me of this film that came out in 1971, The French Connection. And I said that there seems to be that, you know, cop chasing thing that happens with them. And sure enough, watching the outtakes on IMDb. If you don't know about IMDb, I suggest you check out the website, download the app if you're, you know, enthusiastic about movies. That is the app to go to, or the website to go to. And so they had some outtakes about the Joker, and one of the things that they mentioned was that it was definitely influenced by movies that were filmed between 1973 and 1981, mostly Scorsese films and a couple of other directors that I'm not too familiar with. So I have those on my to watch because I need to make myself familiar with those directors. So the Scorsese thing I saw, because if you haven't seen Joker, spoiler alerts, you know, it does get bloody, but the Joker is a character where you gotta expect that. You go to see the Joker, if you know anything about the Joker, you just can't go and say, oh, this is the Joker, he's gonna be a clown, a murderous clown, like it. And I feel like, you know, society has all these expectations, but you can go and sit through a Stephen King movie and not blink twice, and then you got the Joker, and you're just like, you got people walking out of the film like it's like Sybil Shepherd and The Taxi Driver, when she goes on that date with Robert De Niro. And to kind of segue into that, I know that reference because of the outtake on IMDb where they listed the movies that range from 1973 to 1981. So my thought about the the Joker reminded me of The French Connection was close, but it was off, you know, by a little bit. Just missed the cusp of the range that they were making nods to. So I did start watching The Taxi Driver. I didn't get to finish watching it, but there are a few things that lends itself to the Joker. I mean, first of all, you have Robert De Niro in the Joker, which I thought that was a cool connection. And then if you watch The Taxi Driver, there's a few things that also kind of seem familiar to the French Connection. And I think a lot of what these movies and what the Joker captures about these movies is the collapse of society, or the self-destruction of society, the way that society seems to be falling apart, and the powers that be above are not really doing anything to facilitate any hope, any justice, any good outcomes for the people in society. So there's an uprising, and it starts with one individual who sees a wrong and tries to fix it by another wrong, which, as the saying goes, two wrongs don't make a right. And I don't know enough about the French Connection with Gene Hackman. He's the officer who's trying to follow a narc, and but I can say that that the cars in the Joker, the classic 80s cars and things like that, reminded me at the 70s, I think 70s cars too, reminded me of the French Connection. Of course, that was in 1971, so the cars, the vehicles would be mostly 1971 or 70s, early 70s. With that being said, I think having the film set in the 80s works perfectly with how the Joker has to navigate through society. And you can definitely see that in The Taxi Driver, and I want to watch the rest of the films that were mentioned, like King of Comedy, The Network, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, things like that. And I think what it has to do with these individuals who kind of see it wrong with society, they're able to infiltrate in the crowds. That if you had a movie like The Joker set into present day, that wouldn't be so easily done. It wouldn't be so easily accomplished. So those type of things they have to kind of like rewind and set back the time, so that way that is, he has accessibility to get into these places and maneuver between getting to one place and another, because now you have security in all places, so it's not so easy. Places are not so accessible, especially where he's looking at a character like Mr. Wayne, and you're like, wow, how is someone like him face to face with Mr. Wayne? And you think about it, that was totally possible in the 1980s, 1970s. So that was done. Another thing I want to talk about the Joker was I really felt mind blown by a lot of the links that they made, and it makes me curious to see like what version of reality they used for this Joker, and how much of it is how much of it makes him a catalyst to what happens, or makes him a product of society and allows him to perpetuate that. He realizes, I think it's really interesting that he realizes that he has the ability to facilitate this chaos or self-destruction, because it's already there, it's already brewing. And Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver kind of references that as well. So I just think it's interesting. I wanted to say some quick thoughts about it before all the thoughts passed. I'm really excited to see where Wonder Woman 1984 comes out in June 2020, and I have so much more to say. I'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in, and let me know your comments and thoughts. in the space below. Thank you.